Senate is about Nigeria and Nigerians.
Welcome to Inside the Senate, your window to the activities of the Red Chamber at the National Assembly. As the Senate gears up to resume plenary on Tuesday, September 26, 2023, we at Inside the Senate will continue our series of reviews on the Senate's activities leading up to its recess. Tonight, we shall have a look at some bills that were considered for first reading, as well as motions debated by the 10th Senate. In addition, this episode will feature an exclusive interview with Senator Mustapha Habeeb, who represents the Jigawa South-West Senatorial District. Senator Mustapha Habeeb will shed light on various topics, including some federal government implemented policies and their impact. I am your host, Aisha Muhammad Ahmed, urging you to stay tuned for more in-depth coverage when the program returns after the break. Please don't go anywhere.
The agenda of a lawmaker want to make law
to ensure peace and security of this country.
My main aim is to do the core mandate.
Representation that will bring a lot of improvement.
Thanks for staying tuned. During the period under review, the 10th Senate engaged in discussions on a wide range of topics. These included unresolved projects, disparities in loan distribution, healthcare security measures, and numerous other challenges that have hindered Nigeria's development and impacted its citizens. In this episode of Inside the Senate, we'll begin by revisiting some of these motions that were deliberated upon by the Senate before its recess. Stay with us for more comprehensive insights.
Recalls that the Development Bank of Nigeria...
On Wednesday, July 23, 2023, the Senate revisited a motion originally sponsored by Senator Ali Ndume. This motion raised concerns about the alleged uneven distribution of $500 billion loan to the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria in 2021 by the Development Bank of Nigeria. The motion, titled Need to Investigate the Disbursement of Loans by the Development Bank of Nigeria to Micro, Small and Medium-Scale Enterprises (MSMEs) in Nigeria from 2015 to date, was a reiteration of a similar motion put forward on November 16, 2022. In both motions, Senator Ndume asserted that a substantial disparity existed in the disbursement of the bank's 483 billion naira loan, originally intended for the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria. He provided the following breakdown.
The Southwest got 57%, but Lagos got 47%, and other 5 states of the Southwest got 10%. South-South, 17%, North Central, 11%, Southeast, 9%, Northwest, 5%, and Northeast, 1%.
I want to believe, what is the objective of this loan? What are the criteria that are involved? Who are eligible to get this loan? And what are the conditions you must fulfill before you access this loan?
It selected some financial, like the microbanks he has spoken about.
Senator Sani Musa, the chairman of the ad hoc committee responsible for investigating the initial motion, recollected and shared the committee's findings with the Senate.
These funds came from the German International Financial Corporation. And when they brought this, they came with a lot of criteria, terms of which this loan will be disbursed. And when we were looking at it, we felt definitely some areas or some communities or some centers, regions in this country will definitely not be able to access.
The Senate President also commented.
So, it's business. They may want to set their own criteria. And so the criteria for the states that are outside Lagos may not be able to meet the criteria.
As a result, the Senate resolved to establish an ad hoc committee with the task of conducting a more in-depth investigation into the issue and delivering a report within a span of 4 weeks.
Non-vaccinated animals which anthrax can
easily transmitted.
The Senate also deliberated on a motion that called for an increase in awareness regarding anthrax, which is a zoonotic disease. This was when anthrax surfaced in various countries within the ECOWAS region, notably Ghana and Togo. According to experts, anthrax is primarily an ailment that affects animals but can be transmitted to human beings through inhaling anthrax spores or consuming products derived from infected animals such as hides, meat, or milk. Given the heightened risk of anthrax in Nigeria, Senator Ezenwa Onyewuchi presented a motion titled "Need to address the low level of awareness and preparedness to prevent the outbreak of anthrax in Nigeria."
Worried by Nigerians' low level of preparedness and awareness, as a good number of Nigerians are ignorant of the outbreak of the anthrax disease, how it is transmitted, or the risk it portends. Worried that no nationwide livestock vaccination exercise against anthrax disease as a means to prevent this disease from infiltrating the country has been announced by the federal government.
This kind of call is also a wake-up call for all the various healthcare and control institutions, that it is indeed a lot better to prevent anthrax from coming into our land than to begin to run helter-skelter if and when it happens.
From study, it has even been found out that it can be transmitted through insect bites, like mosquito and stable flies. And the longevity of the bacteria is as bad as that. It can last up to 2 years in water and up to 50 years in milk and dry skin. It means that some of us who enjoy eating pomo are very much at danger.
Accordingly, the Senate reached a resolution urging the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, alongside the relevant agencies, to embark on a nationwide vaccination of livestock with anthrax spores vaccine. It is worthy of mention that the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security had at that time carried out awareness campaigns as well as vaccination exercises in states where the risk of anthrax was high or suspected.
The Senate is aware that as part of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission,
another motion considered by the Senate was one sponsored by Senator Akintunde Yunus and two others on Wednesday, the 26th of July 2023. It was on the need to halt the proposed increase in electricity tariff by 11 successor electricity distribution companies, DISCOs.
The Senate observes that the 11 successor electricity distribution company, DISCOs, have filed an application for rate review with the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC. The request for rate review is premised on the need to incorporate changes in macroeconomic parameters and other factors affecting the quality of service, operation, and sustainability of the companies.
Senator Akintunde Yunus expressed concern that the proposed increase will significantly impact the affordability of electricity for the average Nigerian, further exacerbating the financial burdens faced by households and businesses, and that it is essential to address the issues of inadequate power supply, metering, and quality of service provided by the DISCOs so that consumers will not bear the brunt of inefficiency in the power sector. Some senators commented on the motion.
Distinguished colleagues, it is important to note that the removal of fuel subsidy has adversely affected the general prices of goods and services within the economy, with a very high rate of pass-through inflation. Electricity is one of the primary factors of production. An increase in electricity tariffs, as currently proposed, will increase the problem of the inflation and compound Nigeria's inflation crisis.
In January 2021, there was a 50% increase in the tariff of electricity. And in 2022, there was a further increase. And I do believe that if we do not make this motion and allow the federal government halt any further increase in the electricity tariff, it will definitely hurt our small enterprises, small businesses that so many Nigerians are surviving on right now.
Prayers for the motion were for the Senate to call on the federal government of Nigeria to intervene or the proposed increase in electricity tariff by the DISCOs. Also urged the National Electricity Regulatory Commission to thoroughly look into the rate review application filed by the DISCOs, taking into consideration the interests of citizens, affordability, and the need for improved service delivery. Motion further urged DISCOs to henceforth discontinue estimated billing and make available to all electricity consumers prepaid meters at affordable prices, among other recommendations. The motion was voted on and adopted.
The ayes have it.
I feel very strongly about this.
Senator Solomon Adeola Olamilekan of Ogun West raised a point of order under matters of privileges, calling out Senator Adams Oshiomhole for his allegation against senators of the 9th Senate during an interview on Channels Television.
On this said program, a distinguished senator of the Federal Republic told the whole world that we looted our offices, that chairs, tables, televisions were carted away by the senators. The procedures are clear. At the end of our tenure, all the assets in our office will be verified by the management. We will sign for it. And if anything is not complied with or any asset is missing, your severance payment will not be paid.
Senator Solomon Adeola Olamilekan called on Senator Oshiomhole to give an explanation for his statement or apologize publicly to the Senate and Nigerians for the same statement. Some senators also reacted to the point of order.
I equally read that statement in the social media, and I even thought that it is fake news. So I'm surprised that my colleague is bringing it here, which means that it is true. Mr. President, that statement is misleading.
All items in the office of each senator, every year such item depreciates to the tune of 25%. So at the end of 4 years, the book value becomes zero. So every senator is given an opportunity through formal letter written to each and every one of us. This is a tradition. A tradition every 4 years that's always done. Then you are given the right to either accept or reject the offer to purchase those items.
Responding, Senator Oshiomhole explained that his statement was taken out of context. He also apologized to his colleagues over the matter.
At no time in the course of my reply to the allegation made by the TV host, at no time did I say that senators looted their office. I never said so. And I will challenge with respect to the mover of the motion to show that clip of the Channels Television. What I said was this: I said offices were vandalized. If anybody got the impression that I accused the senators, that was certainly not the intention, and that was certainly not what I said. But for those who feel that that's my comment, which was meant to protect our collective image, was offensive, of course I apologize. Because I cannot leave the comfort of my home to go and abuse a house in which I am a member.
Senate President Godswill Akpabio also responded.
Thank the Civil Senator Oshiomhole for giving the Senate the opportunity to explain some of these issues because the public had no idea. And I think this also puts speed to all the speculations and discussions about 70 billion because they probably did not know that the 70 billion was not palliative. It wasn't meant for rice for House of Rep members and senators. It wasn't meant for fuel. That what was there was real for replacement of items that had depreciated in value and had actually been boarded, and they needed to be replaced for the functionality of both chambers.
The 10th Senate has also had some bills tabled before it for first reading. Some of them include Central Bank of Nigerian Act Amendment Bill 2023 SB 34, sponsored by Senator Karimi Sunday Steve from Kogi West. National Eye Center Act Amendment Bill 2023 SB 83, sponsored by Senator Usman Lawal Adamu from Kaduna Central. Metallurgy Industry Bill 2023 SB 92, sponsored by Senator Suleiman Umar Sadiq from Kwara North. Electronic Transactions Bill 2023 SB 94, sponsored by Senator Saliu Mustapha from Kwara Central. Federal Polytechnic Enueke Ebonyi State Establishment Bill 2023 SB 71, sponsored by Senator Eze Kenneth Emeka from Ebonyi Central.
That was a summary of some of the motions and bills considered by the 10th Senate before embarking on recess. Next is the Notebook segment. Do stay tuned.
The legislative debate is a parliamentary procedure where parliamentarians deliberate on issues brought to the floor for legislative concurrence and approval. These issues may be motions, bills, or points of order, among other matters. After the sponsor of any of these matters has made his case, legislators are given the opportunity to deliberate in favor or against the issue brought up. After the debates, the presiding officer will seek the opinion of the entire parliament through a question, where those in favor will say yea and those against will say nay. Whichever gets the majority will have the day and the matter will be approved.
You are still watching Inside the Senate. Recently, our crew had the opportunity to interact with Senator Mustapha Habeeb, senator representing Jigawa South-West Senatorial District. During their interaction, Senator Mustapha Habeeb shared his thoughts on palliative measures taken by the federal government to cushion the effect of the recent subsidy removal.
This measure, the palliative, is creating more hardship than the planned effect. Because now government has given money to the governors to go and buy grains and distribute to the people. Now this is almost our harvesting time. So the traders are buying the grains and selling it to government at a profit, at a higher profit. Now, by the time this will the palliative will finish, the common one will have no stock of grains in his barns. So we are just going back to the square one.
He further speaks on the twin policies of subsidy removal, floating of the dollar exchange rate, and distribution of palliatives.
So the twin effect came into being before we were even sworn in. Remember, he was sworn in 29th of May and we were sworn in 13th of June, 2 clear weeks ahead. So the policies were implemented before we even came in. So there is very little we can do about it. And even the palliative, I think, is too little too late. Because there's nothing new in this. When Babangida introduced FEM in 1986 or 87, he followed it immediately. The day I was watching him, the day he announced the devaluation of the Naira was the day he announced the salary increase by 45%. And the implementation of this palliative supply of, it's just a repeat of what happened in 1986.
Senator Habeeb shares his belief that the subsidy removal also calls for an increase in the nation's minimum wage.
Part of the problem is that people are not getting living wage. I remember during the days of Shagari, minimum wage was 125 naira, and that was very good money at that time. And it was around, I think, $150. So even today, if you are paying somebody $150, his life will still be better than what is existing.
Senator Mustapha Habeeb shares his legislative agenda with us during the interview.
Like I told you, I come from one of the poorest states and one of the most illiterate states in the country. So my main concern is education and agriculture, because these are the areas that affect my people directly.
In closing, Senator Mustapha Habeeb had a piece of advice for Nigerians.
Because there is a lot of built-in anger in the people because of the effect of these two twin policies adopted by the government. So our only prayer is, our only advice is, let's continue to pray, because God doesn't sleep. He created us, He looks after us, and He provides for our welfare. And then we believe He will listen to our prayers.
Those were highlights of our interaction with Senator Mustapha Habeeb, who serves as the senator representing Jigawa South-West Senatorial District in the 10th Senate. Up next on the program is our profile segment. Please continue watching as we introduce our featured Senator of the Week.
Senator Mohammed Tahir Monguno was born on 12th of February 1966. He had his primary education in Monguno Central Primary School and later attended Government Secondary School GSS Ngala, Borno State, where he obtained his senior school certificate. He later went on to study law at the University of Maiduguri and graduated in 1989. He attended Nigerian Law School and was called to the Nigerian Bar in 1990. Senator Mohammed Tahir Monguno was the principal solicitor at Monguno Kura Chambers between 1992 and 2003. He was also a senior lecturer of law at Borno State College of Legal Studies, now Mohammed Gwani College of Legal and Islamic Studies, up until 1999. In 2000, he served as a committee member on the application of Sharia law in Borno State. He also served as Honorable Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General of Borno State from 2003 to 2005, as well as Honorable Commissioner for Education from 2005 to 2006, and Honorable Commissioner for Water Resources from 2006 to 2007, both in Borno State. Senator Mohammed Tahir Monguno was a member of the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th Assembly as the member representing Marte, Nganzai, Monguno Federal Constituency. As a member of the House of Representatives, Senator Monguno chaired and served in various committees including Vice Chairman Committee on Foreign Affairs 1991 to 1992, Chairman Committee on FCT Council Areas and Member Committee on Communications 2007 to 2011, Chairman Committee on Agriculture, Member Committee on Public Petitions and Member Committee on Power from 2011 to 2015, Chairman Committee on Agriculture and Member Committee on Constitutional Review 2015 to 2019. He held the position of Chief Whip in the 9th House of Representatives. His legislative interests include education, agriculture and security, amongst others.
This brings us to the end of this week's edition of Inside the Senate. Join us again for another edition, and don't forget to communicate your questions and opinions via any of our feedback channels. See you next time, and thanks for watching.